Maxwell Adam Mahama, a Ghanaian soldier of the battalion unit of the Ghana Army, left his lovely wife and two handsome boys for national duty at Dentra Boise against him. On a fateful morning, on his way for his, the community labeled him a thief and an armed robber. He was brutally thrown to death, burnt by the same youth who were going to be the beneficiaries of his service. A 27-year-old Afghan woman was beaten, her body thrown off the roof and run over with a car. Her body was again set on fire and thrown into a river. She was alleged of burning a Quran. An old lady was accused of being a man was accused of stealing a CD and 50 pesos, which is not up to $1. He was beaten and burned to death. In my speech today, I will talk about lynching and instant justice, how it has affected the lives of people, and a plea to prevent it. First of all, the practice whereby a mob, usually several dozens persons, takes the laws into their own hands in order to injure and kill a person accused of some wrongdoing. Crime like theft or murder of local court sensibilities. Victims guilty is secondary, since the mob serves as prosecutor, judge, jury, and executioner. Lynching in the United States rose in number after the American Civil War in the late 80s, the emancipation of slaves. African American men and women in the South. Lynching enforced white supremacy and intimidated blacks by racial terrorism in negative ways. The act does not only leave the victim dying in a very painful and cruel manner, it usually affects the families of the victim. In the story of the captain who was lynched and left behind his two kids and wife, his kids were about 4 years and 2 years old. These children will have to grow up without a father. And father died, they will have scars of their father's death in their hearts. They will be heartbroken. Children who witness these scenes learn to deal with issues around them in cruel manners. They grow up to become burdens to the community. Families are left without providers. How can we prevent lynching? Joseph Smith said, men will be held accountable for the things which they have and not for the things they have not. All the light and intelligence communicated to them from their beneficent creator, whether judged by the same day injustice will be judged, and they are required to yield obedience and improve upon that, and that only which is given for man. By bread and life, every word that proceeds out of the mouth of God. Heavenly Father has given us families. Society. A family affects influencing how its members view other people within the society. And this ultimately determines how people socialize. The family is also the primary source of beliefs and principles for most members of the society. If families fail to instill discipline in members, the society ultimately suffers, since there will be many people who do not respect the rule of law and order. For these reasons, parents need to be more alert than ever. Parents need to nurture their children in the Lord's way. A message from the Quorum of the 12 Apostles states, it must be emphasized that as a father, you are always teaching. For good or ill, your family learns your ways, your beliefs, your ideal concerns. Your children may or may not choose to follow you, but the example you give is the greatest light you hold before your children, and you are accountable for that light. I am sure if those persons found in the mob were from a Christ-centered home, where mother and father are both fulfilling their responsibilities, they will have a good heart and would not be able to commit such barbarity place their children in schools. Well-educated people will be able to know their rights and responsibilities. They will know what goes into their own hands. Matt Walsh said, parenting is the easiest thing in the world to have an opinion about, but the hardest thing in the world to do. This is the time for parents to take up the challenge and study the scriptures with their children. Charity, they say, begins at home. Martin Luther King said, injustice anywhere is everywhere. This means that if we let injustice happen, then this injustice will go and start to affect good people. Parents, we can't afford to raise children who will contribute to injustice in our. There are many ways to influence the lives of the future generation. He only uses families. Heavenly Father has given us responsibilities. We can't afford to fail him. We just can't afford bringing up children who will affect lives negatively in the future, who will leave mothers without husbands, fathers without children. Gordon B. Hinckley said, quick trial. Thomas Edmondson said, let us make of our home sanctuary of prayer and abodes of love, that we might merit the blessings that can come only from our Heavenly Father. Thank you.
Okay, you were at 6 minutes and 31 seconds.
How many minutes?
6 minutes and 31 seconds.
6 minutes?
And 31 seconds.
Oh, really? I thought I'll go over.
Okay. So I like that you moved your stories to the introduction. That was nice.
That was your idea.
Yeah, that was good. And then one thing is that your microphone's hitting your necklace, and so the clicking sound was a little distracting while you were talking. So yeah, I know you can't tell that while you're talking, but
I didn't even realize.
Yeah, but your stories, and you're talking quite a lot on our emotions, really where it caught our attention. And you had some great quotes on about what we should do as families and how we should raise the importance of families. I think it's some great quotes. Good job.
Yeah, I mean, your stories